Uplifters, if you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, hey Uplifters. So I want to talk about healing and unlearning. Unlearning toxic behavior, unlearning bad traits, all that stuff, right? While I'm on my healing journey, I have learned so much stuff and I'm trying to unlearn certain stuff as well. And it can be hard. It has been hard, but realizing that you have to change certain ways and the way that you think about things, it's kind of liberating. So people have been conditioned to think, do, and say certain things that have been toxic and harmful to our well-being. When I'm saying our, I'm talking about all of us, because I feel like a lot of things that we have learned throughout our years or we have been taught has been not the right way or the right thing to say, to do, to act. We learn things because, of course, like as we're growing, we're going to go through things or people tell us things and we take it in and we think that it's right. But as you get older, you're going to realize that certain things is not right. And we have to unlearn those behaviors. Let's get into some like things that people say that can be forms of conditioning. Boys don't cry. Boys should be allowed to cry. I feel like that's really toxic. And that's how a lot of, or some boys grow up to be angry boys and angry men because people have told them that crying is bad, that showing emotion is bad, and it's not. Family is family. I guess because I am a survivor of incest, sexual abuse, that saying family is family is I don't even use that term anymore. When I hear people say it, I kind of like not roll my eyes, but it's like when you go through things that I have went through and dealing with that, family is not what it should be in some cases. Don't go against family. I feel like when you want to go on your own path and live your life the way you want to live and not deal with family, people think that you're going against family because you don't want to be around them. And that's not the case at all. It's just because you feel like certain things are toxic or certain people are toxic that you don't want to be around. You want peace, you want harmony, you want good vibes, you want to be around people that love you and that are not a dark cloud. So you want to be around people that are good for your soul, your healing, for all of that. So sometimes people take that as you're going against family, and by speaking up for yourself is going against family. By setting boundaries, it's going against family, and it's not. It's saying that I had enough of the toxic behavior and the negative vibes, and you want to do better, so you don't want to place yourself in predicaments or positions to be around negative people. It doesn't matter who you are. What goes on in this house stays in this house. This is a famous line for families or people that had been abused sexually, mentally, emotionally, physically, anything. People always use the line, what goes on in this house stays in this house. And it makes a person, a child, a teenager, scared to speak out when something is going on. And that is really harmful. And mental health has been ignored. And a lot of times, I want to be talking about, I don't want to point any particular group out, but if you know, you know. A lot of times mental health is ignored because people don't like to admit when there's a problem. When someone has a problem, when someone needs help, they don't like to admit it because it's kind of like taboo, like going to see a therapist or talking to a stranger, letting a stranger know your personal business. It's looked at as a bad thing to do, but it's not. If you need help, you should seek help. Some people use the famous line of, oh, you know, so-and-so is just crazy or slow. That's mean and hurtful. The mean and hurtful comments like that will will crush someone's spirit, will crush somebody's heart into pieces. Like, I'm not crazy, I'm not slow, I'm just going through something right now, or I need the proper help. Unlearning toxic traits and behavior is the first step to heal. It's like, not one of the first, but it's like, it's up there, because you have to unlearn things. Like, just your whole mindset has to shift and change to start your healing journey. Look over your life and the people around you, with no judgment, of course, and look at the different situations that have hurt you or someone around you. Ask yourself, how did people react in this situation, and what did they say, and how did they say it? Are some of those things that are toxic but we don't realize at the time, like if they got really angry and aggressive and try to cuss you out, degrade you, say mean and hurtful things to you that really crush your spirit? How did the person act? And depending on, of course, like your answer, if they overreacted without communicating properly, that's like most likely a toxic trait or behavior that I feel like you shouldn't have to be forced to be around, even if it's family. Ways you can work on your not so good traits. And for healing, you have to unlearn things, right? You have to look at yourself. You have to really inspect yourself and reflect on your life and on who you really are. And that could be a hard thing to do. I don't want to say toxic, because everything isn't toxic. And I feel like that word could be overused a lot. Like, everything nowadays is toxic this, toxic that. And everything isn't toxic. It just may be a bad trait that you have. If your weak point is communicating, find better ways to talk to others. A good way to argue, and this is, I'm going to just be transparent, I am not a good communicator. I'm not. I shut down. I just feel like, okay, if I feel like I'm not being heard, or if I don't want to deal with it, I'm going to shut down. And that's not good, because if no one knows what's wrong with me, how can I fix the problem? So listening will do more good than harm. Better understanding on what the person is trying to say. Take turns getting your point across. If the person don't understand what you're saying, be patient and word it differently. Actually put to use what you've learned from that argument or confrontation. I feel like everything doesn't have to be an argument. Everything doesn't have to be conflict. Everything doesn't have to be a blowout. We have to learn how to communicate. And I'm talking about myself because that's my weak point. Communicating is hard to do, because when you're around people that when they are mad about something, when they are upset, it's always yelling, it's always cussing, it's always just blowouts. Like you build like that person just keeps, or the people just keep everything that you've ever done or said to them in a place in their heart, in the back of their mind or something like that. And then they explode and they tell you how they've been feeling for years. And that is not a good thing to do. Like, if you have a problem with someone, say it right then and there. It's a good way to say things that can be confrontational, but not confrontational. If you're coming from a genuinely nice place and you just want to get that problem off your chest, you have to know how to say things. And that's the best thing that I can say, is you have to learn how to talk to people. And I struggle with that, because my tone, how I say things, my attitude, I'm nice, but if I say things like in a nonchalant way, then someone can take it the wrong way. We have to learn how to talk to people and to respect people in their boundaries. If they don't want to talk about it right then and there, then just give them time. But if you want to express yourself, it should be okay to do. And expressing yourself doesn't have to be an argument. And if you're telling someone a simple thing like, hey, I don't like how you spoke to me just now. Like, I don't like that. Can we fix that? And the person just blows up on you, then it's not you, it's them. And you have to figure a way to either separate yourself from that person or to take another approach. But I don't want to ramble too much. Like, healing and unlearning stuff is, of course, a good thing, but it's also exhausting. And unlearning a lot of stuff that I have learned through these 30 years of my life is a blessing, but it can also be hard. My main thing that I have, besides communicating, is boundaries. Boundaries are, it's hard to do because family comes into play, and oh, be nice, be kind to family and all that stuff. And it's just, it can be overwhelming because sometimes the main people that you have to set boundaries for is your family. And if they don't respect that, that becomes an issue. I have a quote that I want to share with you all about boundaries. What is boundary? Be aware of what is unacceptable and normalize saying no. Do what is best for you and know that it's not your responsibility to sacrifice yourself for others. So I'm learning that, y'all. And I feel like we all have to learn boundaries and set boundaries and respect other people's boundaries. But unlearning that toxic behavior and bad traits is a must. I have a few quotes that I want to share with you all. So yeah, maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so you can be who you were meant to be in the first place. I love that quote. Another one is, pay attention to the lessons life shows you. Sometimes you'll be presented with the same thing in a different package to see if you learned anything. The last quote, never worry about who will be offended if you speak the truth. Worry about who will be misled, deceived, and destroyed if you don't. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.